Welcome to the second part of Pros and Cons of getting a Yorkshire Terrier. There are evidently a lot of upsides to owning a Yorkie, which is why they have become so popular. However, they're not the perfect dog for everyone. There are some disadvantages to this breed that you should be aware of before you make any purchasing decisions. Let's start. High grooming requirements. Yorkies simply have very high grooming requirements for such a small dog. You need to dedicate a decent amount of time for their daily grooming needs. Trying to remove matted and knotted hair can take hours and can be stressful for owner and the Yorkie, so brushing daily is a requirement. They will need a bath once or twice during the week, which can take about an hour of your time, depending on how well trained your dog is. Finally, your dog will need to be trimmed every month, especially around the face and paws. It will help cut down on how dirty they get and to make sure that your Yorkie can see clearly. All in all, Yorkies have a fairly demanding grooming schedule, and they get cranky when left dirty, so don't get a Yorkie unless you're prepared to put in the time and effort for their needs. Persistent health problems. As a purebred, Yorkies have a certain amount of genetic issues. Additionally, this toy breed doesn't have the best immune system, so they sometimes struggle to stay healthy. A few of the familiar diseases that affect Yorkies include hypoglycemia. This is a disease that affects many small dogs and it's caused by low blood sugar. While it is very common during the first few months of their life, it can also affect adults. Luxating patella, that is kneecap displacement. This is when the Yorkie's kneecap slips out of its regular spot due to fragility in the ligaments. It usually forms when the Yorkie is just a pup. This is very painful to the dog and they will cry out in pain. Legg-Perthes disease. This is a genetic disease that can affect certain lines of the Yorkshire kind. It weakens the dog's thigh bone, causing joint issues. Surgery is often the only option here. There are a number of issues that affect which can lead to large vet bills and a shortened lifespan for your pet. Can be fragile. While there are a lot of advantages to the Yorkie being as small as they are, there is also a major downside. These dogs are especially vulnerable to injury. If you love getting physical with your pets, Yorkies are definitely not the best choice. They're simply too small to rough play with, or this can be a danger if you have small children. They might not understand how fragile this breed is, and they could harm him by accident. Additionally, Yorkies sometimes hide in awkward places. One of the most common locations for them to do this is underneath blankets or pillows, and they are so small that you can easily sit on them. So, if you like to play a little rough, or if you purely don't want to be worried about crushing your little pet, I wouldn't recommend this breed for you. To be left alone. The Yorkie loves to be the centre of attention, so they don't do well when being left alone. Without anyone around, the Yorkie becomes bored and anxious. This leads to activities like barking, messing around the house, or scratching at furniture. This can be a problem for some because not everyone has the choice to stay home all day with their pet. The alternative many people choose is to buy a second Yorkie so that they can keep each other company. If you raise the dogs together from a young age, they'll adjust and socialise with each other, and you probably won't have to deal with as much fighting and jealousy. However, this solution also means double the work in grooming, twice the risk of a health problem. So, bad with other dogs. One of the distinctive features of the Yorkie is that they get aggressive with other dogs, especially when they feel that other dogs are directing any attention away from them. Yorkies get jealous very easily. They believe the world revolves around them, and they respond very poorly when they feel like they are not the centre of attention anymore. They can become very hostile and aggressive. With strange dogs, they don't do great. They don't play nice, and they can be surprisingly bossy. Hard to housebreak. This seems unusual for a dog that's celebrated for their intelligence, but Yorkshire puppies can be difficult to house train. This is due to a few elements. Small bladder. Being a toy breed, the Yorkie can't hold a lot of liquid in. Their tiny bladders frequently need to use the bathroom, so accidents might occur regularly. Lack of warning signs. They are infamously bad at warning their owners when they need to go to the bathroom. This means you always need to be present to read the warning signs. High maintenance. I don't mean to be offensive to Yorkshire owners, but it's the truth. Yorkies will sometimes go indoors plainly because they can't be bothered to apply some effort to walk outside. After all, they're not the ones who have to clean up the mess. So, it's time to make a decision. Should you buy a Yorkshire Terrier? If you love small dogs, have time to groom them, and are patient enough to put up with their poor couching and cheeky attitude, then the Yorkie is a great dog.